What's up, to all my freelancers and creatives? This is Nathan, and we're looking at another behind the scenes video. More than likely, if you're looking at this video, you might want to catch the video that I've created in talking about setting up a sales funnel. In that video, I talk about the steps you need to set up in order to increase the chances of success someone takes a specific action on your website. So a lot more thought goes into it than putting up a page and putting up a call to action button or something like that. You have to think about the steps that occur before and after someone takes the desired action you want them to on a website. So more specifically, we're going to dive into an example of that, and I'm actually going to create what they call a lead magnet, or something that you can create that has value. Someone can either download or give some information in exchange for the value you provide. So what I'm creating is a guide that talks about the process of working with a client, and in exchange for looking at the steps for the guide, they can give their name and email address and they get that download for free, right? But we need to talk about what happens before and after they get that download, and that's what that sales funnel video is about. So how do you decide what is valuable in creating a lead magnet? It has to be enticing enough for someone to want to give up their information, because you have to remember, just because it's not money doesn't mean it's not valuable, and people do view their email address as a certain level of currency. It's just that they're giving their attention, and their email box is very private, and they're viewing that as what is valuable. So let's go to my desktop, and I'm going to show you how I came to the decision of what I'm going to make. So here we are on my desktop, and I'm on my YouTube channel, nathanallotey.com/YouTube, or youtube.com/nathanallotey, however you want to get here. But this is my channel, and you know, pretty much you see what I have to offer, things about pricing, regular uploads, Q&A show, and the list goes on. But really, we are going to go to the Creator Studio button, because we need to look at some of my analytics. And what we're looking for is what video content is highly popular, and what video content is there an opportunity to create something or some type of guide off of. It's something to think about. Now, I already know what it is, but I just want to show you the logic behind it. So again, I am in youtube.com. I went to Creator Studio and I'm in Analytics. I'm looking at an overview. I'm going to change this to lifetime, because I want to look at what are the most popular videos that I've had for the entirety of my account. And it's already calculated all those things in there below. So here are my top 3 videos based on watch time. Watch time is one of the more valuable things. I can also look at views, and we'll do a mix between the two. So I showed this on a previous video. We have one being pricing psychology, another one streaming, how do you stream online, and then you have one about a client process. What is your workflow when you're working with a client? Those are the 3 videos based on watch time. Let's look at views. So same list arranged by views. And again, we have streaming. These 2 videos are streaming, pricing, freelancer, entrepreneur, and then you have client process. Okay. So just looking at these things, I should probably make something centered around pricing. I should make something around how do you set up a live stream, or I should set up something about a client process. Now, personally, my channel talks about the business of design and freelancing. So I could talk about streaming, but that doesn't directly relate to freelancing, but pricing and client process does. And for this reason, I am choosing the client process. Now, if you go to my website and you see the client process workflow, the show notes for them, I haven't yet uploaded them. I think this was a week where I was pretty busy and I didn't get a chance to upload anything. So that's that. But I did write notes for this. So I actually did write out everything that pertains to the client process, and this right here is essentially the client process. You know, I talk about the questionnaire, your first meeting, whether you do a roadmap or proposal, and then you have an agreement and you get the deposit, and then you go from there. So I literally outline it. And even if we go back to the video itself and we look at what I've written in the show notes of the description on YouTube, I even have the steps here. I have the time codes and the steps for each particular part of the process. So I have all those things, and it makes sense to me to make a lead magnet centered around what the process is. So I am going to do that, and I've actually created something already that talks about this. And I started creating a guide talking about the client process workflow. And I'm playing around with different looks and aesthetics of what to do. I'm just playing around with the color palette and trying to figure out what should I do. But ultimately, I've laid out certain slides a certain way. So I'm like, okay, maybe a title will go here, and I talk about the goal here, and okay, maybe I have something where there's an image on the left that is going to put into context what I'm talking about on the right hand side. And same thing here, maybe the image is on the right, and then I have a layout here, and just different layouts of what I could do. And maybe this information is just a lot of things, or maybe there's 4 points. That's a sub point of the main thing I'm trying to get across. And I talk about myself. This is who created the guide. It's me, and different things of that nature. If you want to know more information, go here and download this, so on and so forth. So this is what I've created just as an example. I'm still not sure what exactly I'm going to do. I'm still thinking through this. I'm still trying to figure out what makes the most sense, and this, that, and the other. But from what I showed you from the notes and what I showed you on the description of the video, it's literally a matter of just laying it out. I already have a layout. It's just me choosing what I want and then using something like Unsplash. So go to unsplash.com and finding images that resonate with this content. So here's an example. In the client process workflow, I have a step called roadmap or proposal. So in Unsplash, I could say something like roadmap, or probably map. Okay, cool. So I can grab these things and talk about a roadmap or a proposal. This actually looks good, and this looks good as well. This map looks good as well. Let's grab this map. I don't know what this is a map of, but I could copy this image. And for example, if I'm making the guide here in Keynote, and maybe the step is roadmap, right? I'm just going to duplicate this page. Maybe it's a roadmap. I could do something like paste the map here, and then like put it there, and this title would say roadmap. Right, and then I just put the notes that I have for the roadmap and however I want to describe it and or talk about it, right? So that's something I could easily do, and it says roadmap. You see a map, you get the point. So I can continually do things like this to create a lead magnet. This is nothing fancy. This is everything done in Keynote. I could have easily done this in PowerPoint. I could have easily done this in Google Slides, and there is value when it comes to the layout. Me laying things out a certain way can present a certain amount of value, right? And that's something I need to think about and work on. So really quick, I am going to take what I wrote. I am going to edit this in Grammarly, and you've heard me talk about Grammarly and use Grammarly in the past. Grammarly is an app I use to check for spelling, sentence structure, as well as the proper words I'm using. So I'm literally going to take what I wrote out, and literally these notes are an outline of what I took from the video, and I just rewrote them in my own words. So I recorded a video and expanded the points to get this. And I'm just going to put this in Grammarly, client process workflow. And here I am trying to inform someone. I want to be knowledgeable. It's informal, emotion, strong. This is more creative. So I'll leave that. Those are my goals. And I already see some mistakes. Like, for example, it's saying, let's take this. The client may have a feedback. It's saying, why are you saying a feedback? That's a mistake. It should be feedback. Correct it. It's saying there should be a comma. A comma should go before and, because this is a conjunction and a compound sentence, and I'm bridging together two different ideas. So I need to add a comma to this. So I'm just going to look through this, do all the things I need to do in Grammarly, and probably cut out some text and try to narrow it down to what I need to do. So you'll see this in double time, triple time, quadruple time as I go through this and get to the point where I'm comfortable.
Home, 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 home.
Feel the pressure, new semester. Everybody's getting fly, gotta dress up. And parents pay a lot of money, they expect you to make a lot of money, so you don't wanna mess up. Now you're stressed, huh? Try your best, but why it never seems enough to impress them? And you just wanna hear him say good job instead of get a good job. So
okay, you saw me really quickly do all this editing, and I believe I got it to a point where things are pretty good. If I click on Insights, you see there's a minimal amount of mistakes. The words are good. The variation in words are good. You see this also is about almost 2,000 words, right? So it's quite a few bits and pieces that I've taken from here. I'm actually going to take this and put it on my website, because I mentioned here it was blank. So I'm going to take all the notes I wrote and placed it here in the show notes. But then we're going to have to take the show notes and pare them down even a little more for the guide. So we'll go through that process now. So here on the web page, I'm going to edit this particular episode. And I am going to take, I'll ignore this, ignore that. I am going to take everything that I wrote down and put it here as some show notes. For anybody wondering, I am using WordPress. And I've done some customizations to it to create a custom post type for my podcast. But besides that point, I am using a plugin called Visual Composer. I believe that plugin just got renamed to be called WP Bakery. But I'm using that because it's something that I use when working with clients to make it easier for them to edit. So it's something that I've just used in other places because I've gotten used to it. I personally don't need it. I can do it whether it be HTML, whether it be WordPress, whether it be Webflow, which is what I'm looking into a little more often, but I'm still using that right now. So I'm just going to copy and paste what I have and put it here, just because the long version of what I've just done needs to exist somewhere. I'm actually going to put the plain text here. But yeah, the longer version of what I've created, it needs to exist somewhere, right? And I'm going to go through this and add some headers here. And I won't bore you with all the details, but let's fast forward.
tell me where is your rest, huh? The parents feel the strain too, cause they named you, and they got the responsibilities to raise you. If you turn out like a demon, it's...
Okay, we are actually done with creating a longer version of these notes. And this is not really essential to creating the lead magnet, but I'm just trying to show that you can write a longer version, and then the guide is the pared down version. So this could be a way to get people to come to your website. And I'm going to hit update. This could be a way to get people to your website, because maybe the guide is the pared down or shortened version. At the end of the guide, you say something to the effect of, for a full explanation of all the steps, make sure to check out the full episode at this link, and then you link them to where that is. So this could be a way you make that lead magnet and get them there. So again, let's go to the web page, And you probably are going to see the full version of this. And yes, that is true. The full version is here, and they're able to come to this and read it. But it's 1,088 words for a quick download guide. That might be quite a bit. So let's look at the specific lead magnet layout that I have, and let's play around with what we can do. So first I have like an intro. I say when I first began freelancing, I didn't have a process. Not having a process is problematic because it causes confusion. And then I talk about what the process is. So how does this translate into layout? It would probably be something like this. I need to talk about how having a process is important. That's the biggest and or bigger thing. So that needs to be the main call out here. The fact that the process is important. So not having a process is problematic because it causes confusion. And I believe any creative should have a set process they share with the client. This right here pretty much sums up what I'm saying. So I don't need all those other things. Yeah, so I can take this and let's break it out. So I am going to put this here. Not having a process is problematic because it causes confusion. I can say something like, having a process is essential to setting client expectations, right? And then here I can expand that a little bit. I can move this up as well. It doesn't have to be right there. I can move it up. I could bring this back over and or stretch it out, whatever I want to do. But here, having is essential to setting client expectations. This is actually good, but I probably need an image that focuses on what a process is. So let's see, in Unsplash, let me see, process. I don't know what I'm going to find. Process. This is actually decent. I can keep looking. Puzzle pieces, that makes sense. Somebody working. This is good. A client looking. I actually like this for map. I'll come back to that for like a roadmap. Process. This is actually decent too. But I think I'm going to take this one. So that's actually what I'm going to use as the image here. So let's zoom back a little bit. Yeah, let's zoom back, get rid of that. Actually, I'll bring that back because I want to paste over this. Yeah, so maybe it'll be something like this, and I need to shorten it by setting a mask in Keynote. Something like this. And that makes sense. And that makes sense. Because if I were to look at it, if I were to zoom in a little more and see it how it is here, that makes sense. Having a process is essential. And I probably need to lay out what the process is over here. I don't have to list every step of the way here. But I'm talking about the first meeting and different things like that. So having a process is essential to setting, And that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably say each step is going to be laid out of something I highlight in the process, right? And let me put this on another screen just so that I can look back and forth and know exactly what I'm looking at and doing. We don't need this anymore. I'll leave that map up. Well, let's bring back up Keynote. So within Keynote, I need to talk about what these steps are. So I can say questionnaire, first meeting. I can talk about roadmap, client agreement. And looking at these, they probably need to be made smaller, 18. instead of 21. Client agreement 18 works. Call it milestones instead of checkpoints. I'll call it checkpoints. I'll leave it there. Whatever. Checkpoints. And right, this is getting somewhat crowded, so I am going to move all of it up and a little more to the right because I want to fit in a few other steps that are part of the process. So we got checkpoints. And I'll say launch. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Well, I don't even need checkpoints. Checkpoints is not like an essential part of the entire process. Definitely solution presentation. Or I'll call it present solution. And then going from there, we have revisions and then we have launch. So I'll put revisions here. And then after this will be launch. But I'm going to have to find a way to fit everything because it's getting a little crowded. And I don't want to overwhelm people with text on like one of the first slides. I don't want to overwhelm people with that, but I still want to show it. So maybe we can fit it. I'll move it up a little bit. More than likely, I'm going to have to tighten the spacing on these things to make room for the last one. And then I'm just going to have to adjust each section here. So let's move this up a little bit. And then, okay. So roadmap, let me move you up, and Keynote should highlight the distance between each thing. Okay, move up client agreement. Move up present solution. Same thing for revisions. And same thing for launch. I'll probably have to move this up too. Yeah, so something like this, just to fit everything on here, would work. And I'll write a short statement. Yeah, and I may take something out if I feel it's too crowded, and just go from there. Like, for example, maybe first meeting and roadmap is combined. So maybe I don't need roadmap because it follows up the first meeting or whatever. But I'll leave it for now. But looking over here, it looks too crowded. So yeah, roadmap is going to go. So I'm dropping that out so I can fit everything else here. All right. So what we're really getting into is just layout of information and the best way to lay things out. Nothing I'm doing is absolutely required and or perfect. I'm just playing around with it until I get something that I'm happy with, right? Because I don't want the reader to feel crowded, like it's just overwhelming too much information. So yeah, that's the first one. And then when I go back to what I've done, the first thing I dive into is I'll talk about the process. I say here, and then I say get the client to fill out the questionnaire. So I probably should dive into what the questionnaire is. So going back here, having a process essential to setting client expectations. Questionnaire. So the title goes here. I can say the questionnaire. Your goal is to discover if the client qualifies to work with you. That's actually true. That's actually what I want to discuss on this slide. So I'm going to move this over because this Actually, this is questionnaire. So let me duplicate this because I might use it in the future. I don't want to use this picture. I need to do something where it's about questions or answers, or something where someone's filling out a form. Something like that. And that's what this slide needs to reflect. Something about answering questions. Something about, I can even talk about forms. They might think I mean forms like the abstract of what forms means. So it might be all over the place in terms of what I'm looking for, but I need to find a form of some point, or who knows, maybe I type in questionnaire. And as I thought, of course it's not going to have anything. So let's go back to question. And see, yeah, maybe these question marks is something that I need to look at. I do like this light bulb here. I do like this piece of paper because I'm going to write down what I'm learning about the person. I do like that as well. Together we create. That's actually kind of cool. Write ideas. I like that too. So let's just take this, copy the image, go back to what we're creating for our lead magnet. I will get rid of this, and we're going to mask this so it doesn't take up the whole section of the slide, and something like that. Questionnaire, write ideas. I want to move this over so people can see the ideas. Pause it there, and I'll continue this trend. So whatever I'm doing, I'm just going to continue the process of trying to create this and get to a point where I'm at a questionnaire that I actually like. So I'll just continue doing this and laying things out, and you can see the finished result.
Instead of an angel, then they be catching the blame for bringing the family shame. When kids have kids, they run and abandon. Others stick around, model broken examples. Clean ones, nobody's hands is. And sometimes this life's got more questions than answers.
I feel the pressure, yeah, coming from every side. I feel the pressure, yeah. Knocked out, but I'm still alive. When I feel the pressure, yeah. Like where do I run to when I feel the pressure,
You ever feel like you're wandering, no aims, no accomplishments, life's passing by, gotta make something out of it. And every time the clock tick, you be so reminded how time flies, but you ain't in the cockpit. And birthdays are like the worst days. There's turmoil in your heart, but celebration on the surface. Cause Mondays is right back to that workplace where you hate it, but you gotta get paid. Yeah, I can feel the pressure too every time I'm speaking on the microphone, different crowd.
Now, as you may have seen when it was sped up, I went through the long process of writing and editing and laying out everything I had to for this particular lead magnet. So let's go back to the desktop and look at it. So we have the title here, you know, a reminder of what this is, and I walk the person through the specific questionnaire. And again, these images came from Unsplash as I looked for different pieces of collateral to dress this up. And I pretty much took my blog post and my podcast episode notes and used it to craft this specific layout. So I walk through different things, the questionnaire, what happens during your first meeting, more information on your first meeting. Then you go to a roadmap and proposal, some more information about that. Then looking at the client agreement, what are some extra things we need to learn or know about that? Milestones and checkpoints. Then it's time for, after milestone and checkpoints, it's actually time for the solution presentation. And then once you present, there are revision cycles that you may have. And then finally, there is the project launch and then the follow-up. So these were the steps that I outlined in the blog post and everything. I just laid them out visually, just so it's easier to absorb the information. And then to draw a conclusion, I mentioned that I'm the person who created this guide and people can get in touch with me. I will probably on this side add in my social media links here. And then I talk about a resource that dives deeper into all the things I just covered they can click on this link and go there. So that's what we did. I mean, we looked at our YouTube stats. I found a video that was the most one of my videos that were very popular. It was client process workflow. Many people online are looking for a specific workflow and they're not sure. It was this video here. And I took all the show notes that I had, put them in Grammarly, just to check for the grammar and different things of that nature. Make sure to correct those things. I have a 99 rank. Then I went and just Apple Keynote and laid out the information where it was spaced out properly and people can easily absorb the information, and just condensed everything down. So now I have a lead magnet that I can actually build a sales funnel around. So thank you for taking the time to check out this video. I greatly appreciate it. Now that we actually have a working functional lead magnet that we know is already popular, we can build a sales funnel from reverse and talk about what needs to happen in order to build a web page where people can submit their information and then download this. And we'll get into that in a specific episode. So thanks for checking out this video. Greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.